Index release or thumb release? Which one's better? Let's talk about it. So for as long as I've been doing archery, I've always used the wrist release. That's always kind of what I've seen people use, so that's always what I've used. But this season I decided to make the switch to the thumb release, so I just wanted to talk about pros and cons of each and why I decided to make the switch. So first we can kind of talk about the pros of the index finger release. With it having a wrist strap on it, it's really hard to lose, whereas the thumb release, I mean, that's pretty easy to lose, to drop. You lose it pretty easy, so that's one of the pros for this. And I feel like the index fingers just kind of feels more natural. You shoot a gun with your index finger, so shooting this with your index finger just kind of feels more natural. I think the index release is a lot more easy for beginners to kind of use because of that natural feeling. So for beginners, I definitely think starting with a wrist strap is something good to do. Not only that, but I do also feel like the index release is just kind of, I mean, with gloves, a lot of times you're wearing gloves, so it's a lot easier because you're just using that finger. It's a lot easier to use with gloves. So some of the cons of it, I think a lot more people struggle with punching that trigger rather than squeezing it with the index release, which I think why a lot of people, they will move from the index release to the thumb. Sometimes, and this was kind of a problem with me, I feel like you can get some target panic with the index finger release, so switching to a thumb trigger might help kind of fix some of that. It's also, for me, it's a lot harder to feel like I'm pulling both my shoulder blades together, which when you're pulling a bow, that's kind of what you want to be focusing on. And just with the index finger release, I didn't feel like I was doing that very well compared to the thumb release. So with the thumb release, a lot of the things that people are trying to get out of this is that surprise release, so you're not jerking, you're not punching the trigger. And I feel like I get that a lot better with the thumb release. A lot of times with the index release, I would jerk a lot, and so that would cause me to be off on my shot. I don't feel like I do that as much with the thumb release. I feel like my anchor point with the thumb release is a lot more consistent, and in bow hunting you have to be consistent because you only get one chance. Pressure's high, you're not going to be thinking about every single step of shooting the bow. So if I can be a lot more consistent with whatever I'm doing, I feel like that's going to help me in the long run. And I just feel like that anchor point with the thumb release is super consistent for me. I'm always trying to get the tip of my nose on that string, and I just feel like I achieve that better using the thumb release. So some of the cons of the thumb release, we talked about them earlier. This is really easy to lose. There's nothing attached to me. I just have to keep up with it. So that's definitely a con of the thumb release. It can be a lot harder for beginners or people first coming to the thumb release to use because they're not used to that different anchor point. I actually had to adjust the sight on my bow because when I switched to the thumb release, my anchor point was different and it was causing me to shoot low a lot. A lot of the times when we're hunting, we're wearing really big gloves, and that can be really hard with these small thumb releases. So that's something to consider. And then I feel like sometimes you hear about certain models of these things shooting accidentally, or coming off the D-loop accidentally when you're not ready for it, and you either miss or you hit where you're not intending. So that can be one of the cons that some people might bring up. Ultimately for me, and what it should come down to for you, is which one can I use most consistently? Which one am I shooting the best with the most often? Whichever one you're more confident in that you can make that shot when the pressure is high is the one that you should be going with. Ultimately, the thing that made me decide on the thumb release was the fact that I was always kind of jerking whenever I shot, so I ultimately decided to make the move to thumb trigger because I didn't feel like I was doing that as much. That's as simple as it is. Everyone's going to have their own reason for what they choose. Just be confident in what you choose.